God damn. I love that. I love that intro. I cannot tell you how much it just hits me in my soul and just like starts to ramp it up a little bit and gets me rolling. Cause I'm going to be honest with you. I try to like think throughout the week about something to talk about. Hello folks. I'm back again. I mean, and it's a week. It was a week ago. It is a week now. You get two. I mean, this is what we're trying for. This is the goal. This is the aim. This is what we want to be at, right? Once a week at the very least. Hopefully you get that Patreon episode going at a certain point. It all depends on how much or how little I procrastinate and like waste my time. Cause I mean, I just spent like the last 15 minutes being like, I have nothing to talk about. I thought about it all week. There's a whole bunch of times where I sat in my car and like ran off of the mouth 15, 20 minutes about a topic that I can't even remember. I was like, oh, that'll be a cool thing to talk about. Can I remember what the fuck I was talking? Nope. Can't you remember the content of the nonsense? Not at all. Nothing. Not even a bit of it. I don't know. So I come into these things with nothing. Like nothing at all. I mean, you heard me when I try to start with a specific topic. By the end of it, I'm so far off. I mean, granted, we all know that at some point in this conversation, I'm going to talk about suck my dick. Well, is that a Freudian slip? Do I desperately want myself inside my own mouth? I don't think so, necessarily. I will say this. I watch lots of porn, so I've seen lots of penises. You could have worse dicks in your mouth. I'm just saying. So I guess I'm really saying I could have worse dicks in my own mouth. Again, as soon as this starts, it's going to be something. We're going to get to dicks. It's probably mine, maybe somebody else's, some kind of an Asian sweet boy. It's going to happen. It's probably going to be a running gag at this point. Gag. But yeah, no, I start these off with absolutely no idea or no goal. I try to think about like topics, but then if I think about them too much, I start like talking to myself about it. And then if I talk to you about it after I've done that, all I'm doing is regurgitating something I've already said. So it's like I'm reading off of a script. And there's no script. Like I have this, like a prepared speech. I wish I could do that. This would be a lot better for me, for you. It'd be a lot better for everybody. This flow of consciousness is probably not necessarily the best. I watched an episode of Matt and Shane See Your Podcast, and Matt had to do it, and that was fun to watch. Because it's pretty much the same thing, especially if you're not used to it, I guess. I don't even know if I'm used to it yet. I've only done 6. This is number 7. Lucky number 7. I'm just gonna keep doing it till the fucking world ends, regardless. Even if it's to the same 8 people. Was it 9? I think there's 9 separate people that all listen to this based off of my YouTube analytics. Which, in all fairness, is the reason I don't want myself to get taken off of YouTube, so I can actually see who's listening, kind of. And then I have to like do something where like I promote it, which I would do once I'm more proud of the product I'm putting out. And right now, I couldn't imagine being like, hey, like I feel bad asking people that I know. And be like, hey, would you listen to this for me? And like, a bunch of them haven't. And that's fair. That's fair. I didn't listen to me talk for an hour. It's not about nothing. It's usually about dicks and porn, or porn wads. Speaking of which, I had a friend tell me I should tell you guys a good porn wad to read once a week, and that's totally doable. This week's porn wad, let's look at the list we got here. This week's is gonna have to be, I don't know if I told you about it before, Salmi's channel. Let's go ahead and read you the we're going to do this every week. You get a porn wad recommendation every week. Jinsu, an engineer specializing in augmented reality, has always dreamed of using the technology in creative ways. So when Solmi, a cam girl, asks him to develop adult content for her live stream show, he's presented with the opportunity of a lifetime. He finally has enough money to research and design at his will, whether it be holographic clothes to allow people to walk around naked in public, or gadgets that boost orgasmic pleasure. Tune into Solmi's channel for some hot, high-tech porn. This one's great because it's over, and there's some real wholesome moments in this. It's real good. It's harem style, or there's not a lot of NTR, as people like to put it, which, I'll be honest with you, I know that none of you know what the fuck I'm talking about right now, but NTR, which is funny because I'm talking about a Korean thing, and NTR is shorthand for, I believe it's pronounced Neotere. I don't know how to say the word. It's just it's any. Well, no, hold on. Let me look up I'll look it up so I can spell it. Well, we'll make Google say it. Of course it doesn't. So, what does it say? The Netto. It's like Netto Rare or something like that. But basically, it's cheating. It's usually when like some slut's getting banged out by some guy that's like usually a bully of this guy, like not the main character. The slut's usually the main character, and then she's got some guy that she's like she loves him. It starts off that way, like I love him, I don't want to be doing this. I can't believe they're like forced into it, kind of sometimes, and they start to like it because the guy's like really aggressive and treats him like a piece of meat, and they're kind of into it because their boyfriend's always just really sweet to them and never like like spits in her mouth. Sometimes that's what they want. You don't know until you ask, and honestly, some of these chicks don't even know that they want it anyway. It's a whole thing where people don't know enough, and I think that's because no one, you gotta experiment. Who you can experiment with? Just some fucking random asshole. This is why, again, you should have boyfriends and girlfriends when you're younger, and then like experiment, try some fun shit, watch a little porn together, try something fun, learn some things about yourselves. When you're young enough to make those mistakes, and wait till you're like 40 years old and then you're just not in love with your husband anymore, and you just decide like, well, I want to get railed out in a hotel room by 5 well-hung black men, and then post about it on Reddit in creepy sentences just written out in real weird ways with an Ace of Spades tattoo on your ass cheek. I'm not talking about a specific person or, group of people on Reddit or anything, but I mean, Listen, do I, of course I do. I'm black. It's one of the very few things that's cool about being black. It's the idea that there's women out there that want you simply because you're black, except for the fact that when you're half white and your dick's not really as big as they are, expecting. Cause I'll be honest with you, if I had it like a foot long dick, why would you wear pants? Why? Would you do anything else? Why in the world? Why? For what? Anyway, let's move beyond that. We're talking NTR. There's no NTR for this. Because I'm telling you, the amount of people on the internet that fucking hate this. And I don't understand. It's like this mental disconnect where I understand it if you go on and watch any like interracial porn, like BBC, like just fucking some tiny little white girl, there are always a bunch of comments about like how disgusted some guy is or how much they hate it. And then people don't understand that, like, that's part of this. The person who's posting that, it's part of their kink. That's why they watched this. Like, they watched this to feel the outrage. And then, like, the comments, that's not real. It's all part of them. Like, that dude came so fucking hard after he said that. Like, he typed, like, fucking black piece of shit. She was pristine. And then just, all over his keyboard. That's how that works. But I don't understand these NTR haters, because like they'll read it and like, I had to stop. There was cheats. So you can't possibly imagine yourself as the guy. And like, I wouldn't even want to be that guy. Well, it's not hot at all. It's not real. It's not real at all. These people are drawn. This is a fucking fiction. This is complete and utter fantasy. It's not even actors, all right? Where like in real life, this chick might have a boyfriend and she's doing this sex scene. These are fucking fictional characters that are drawn in front of your face. You can't imagine for a moment and just like let go of this is pure fantasy. You can't let go of your morals for 2 seconds and be like, this would be hot as fuck. Like, this would be super great. Like, what's wrong with people? Like, I don't understand. You can't pretend for just a second. Like, no, it's gross. I understand it if, like, watching, you don't want to see some dude get his asshole eaten. Like, yeah, not nobody, just nobody rational, in my personal opinion, wants to see that. The fuck? So gross. But, what? I don't get it. And they hate it. It's not just like I don't like this. It's a fucking rage. Like, I've been cheated on before. So who gives a fuck? Guess what you've never done? Fuck 3 chicks at the same time. Like, you've never done the shit that's in this model anyway. Like, that's the whole point. We're playing a game here. We're playing make-believe and pretend, and you can't. So it blows my mind these people hate it. But there is none of that in Solomon's channel. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's kind of fun, funny, super hot. It's not, because some of these are very, some of the ones that they're very like man centric. These ones are too. Don't get me wrong. It's very what's that fucking chick from BuzzFeed say? It reinforces the male ego or some bullshit like that. I don't know. Oh no, it reinforces the male fantasy. It's like, well, yeah. But that one's pretty cool. So that's a thing that I highly recommend. Read that. You can read on Toonally. I recommend Toonally. I've told you before. If you have a phone that isn't a piece of shit, you can download Firefox. If not, just pay the fucking $4 a month. Like, there's other stuff on here that I recommend. I recommend that one as your pornois, and then for your non-pornois, I highly recommend Nano Machine. You can, or Overgeared. Overgeared is great. This is a fun one. Let's see. The world's greatest VR game, Satisfied. Whether in reality or in the game, his fortune has always befallen upon him. An unexpected reward he discovered during a quest, Pagma's rare book, changing into a one-of-a-kind, strongest legendary class among plus 2 billion users. That's a terrible fucking explanation or summary of a really fun manhwa. I highly recommend that one. It's not porn related at all. I highly recommend that one. That one's great. It's got 200 chapters. That's a lot. It's fun as shit. Read some fucking manhwas if you're just bored or you like reading books. These things are great. There's something out there for everybody. There's slice of life shit. There's very female centric ones. There's lots of stuff. I highly recommend this stuff. It's what I read now instead of reading like the fantasy books that I'm a fan of. My favorite book series, I don't give a fuck if it's teen fiction. I got the amount of shit I took. I remember one time, this fucking stupid bitch. She's like, oh, it's a fucking teen fiction book. It's for like 14-year-olds. Does it mean it's bad, you fucking bitch? Like, oh, I'm sorry, it's not Tolstoy, cunt. Like, eat shit. The fuck? Like, oh, I'm sorry, just because it's not the most difficult fucking thing in the world to read or comprehend. So that it's not like, oh, well, it doesn't have 9,000 pages and unbelievably convoluted with 8,000 different characters, backstories of which you have to understand or else the main storyline doesn't make any sense. Like, Jesus Christ, these gatekeeping dorks who just have to, like, constantly reinforce their dorkdom by, like, not letting you in. This is an exclusive geek club that only assholes who've read shit books, like they have 9,000, copies, 9,000 fucking installments of just bullshit. And it's like, well, it's an immersive world. It's so, you can really grasp it after book 9. Fuck you. Okay? Some shit's just short, sweet, like tight and fucking finessed in just a fantastic, wonderful way that isn't full of artistically nuanced bullshit. It's just, you know what I like is when something's made and then the people who read it create the nuance themselves. Like, there's enough, like, artistically left open pieces that are open to enough interpretation that the fans can create whatever the fuck they want. Like, that's what was so great about Star Wars, in my personal opinion. If any of you guys don't know anything about, well, I'm going to be, okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let me preface, anything I start to talk about, I know about 3% about what I'm talking about, but I'm going to talk about it with an unbelievable amount of confidence with what I'm saying. Just know that most of it's probably bullshit and incorrect, and that it's all just generated based off of my assumptions, based off of the little and limited information that I have on the subject and the topic. So I'm probably wrong. Anything you hear that makes you think that sounds like bullshit, definitely look that up. Because I'm not going to right now, because who the fuck is doing that? Again, told you, I don't prepare for this. I didn't think I was going to talk about Star Wars. That didn't even cross my mind in the last week. But what limited shit I know about Star Wars, the thing that makes Star Wars dope as fuck is the fact that there is so much, like, fan-created content that then became canon before Disney took the IP and just, dominated it. In the time of Me Too, Disney just took and violated one of the, like, greatest, greatest fan-driven, literary worlds of all time. And it's so rich and filled with, like, storylines and lore and characters that are a foundation to it. It's just, I mean, it's based off of 3 movies. I don't know how much of these things were actually generated by Lucas Arts or like the Lucas Films in terms of like these books and the comics. I know that they had to get like permission for it to be canonized, and then like there's a whole process that they would go through to write things, and then like they had to fit inside of the universe and all this stuff. As far as I'm aware, as far as it's been explained to me by Star Wars nerds who got me sort of into at least knowing about it, because my love of Star Wars comes primarily from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I played it on Xbox, the original, the OG, the fucking big black box. Yeah, that game was fantastic. I love, and the main character. I mean, you're Revan. You're the man. You are the greatest Sith Lord of all time. He's shit. Excuse me, Jesus. I'm just burping into the microphone like a fucking animal. Again, don't have a pop filter, by the way. Sorry about that. I ordered one, doesn't fucking fit. It's a piece of shit. I'm pissed. Is it my own fault for not really checking? Of course it is. Obviously, but it doesn't matter. But it's got this. So these 3 movies just spawn all this like generating of characters and plots and backstory. So like that's all just off of like the wide open world that it creates by not being just just not flooding it with so much minutia and nonsense that it's so vast and convoluted that you can't finish it. Which, I mean, Game of Thrones? I know that, listen, I've been told over and over again that the books are fantastic. I don't argue that, deny that, fight that. That is, sure. But the books have the same problem that the show has, and that there's a lot of shit. And I'm hoping for everybody's sake who's a fan of those books, that guy's got like 2 in the chamber, and what he's saying is like, I want to make sure that this last one's done. And he's like working on that, and then if he passes, he'll release them so that he doesn't have to see if you hated them or not. Because if not, there's no end to that in sight. That ain't happening. Like, I know that he gets pissed off. People are like, you're gonna die before you finish these, but no shit. Like, more than likely, if he's really at where he says he's at, you're all fucked and you're never getting a conclusion. The only conclusion you're gonna get is a dog shit show, and I apologize. I know how much that hurts. I really do. I mean, 2 guys, a girl, and a missing episode, folks. If you've never seen the show, I think I talked about it before. ABC show. Ryan Reynolds. Fucking terrific. Ryan Reynolds and Nathan Fillion as well. They're just a fucking great show. I mean, he's a side character. He's Johnny. But 2 guys and a girl in a pizza place is the original name of the show. And then they stopped working at the pizza place and just became 2 guys and a girl. And then they had a fucking season finale episode, or series finale, it became episode where like they're all pregnant or some shit, and they don't like know who the father. And it's just, they end it right there. It's just over. Just ends in a fucking unbelievable cliffhanging cocksuck. It's a fantastic sitcom. Well, it is very good, especially if you're in your early 20s. It's fucking great because like I just can't deal with the drama aspect of it anymore, because there's a bit of that, a lot of that. More than I remembered when I tried to watch it again recently. There's quite a bit of drama in that. Lots of relationship stuff. I just don't care about that anymore. I can't be bothered. Speaking of drama shows, I have been confronted with I don't know. I want to be nice, because this person they seem okay. I don't know anything about them really, other than the fact that they're very young, and I'm fascinated by what's going on in their head. Like, there's young people that are at my job. There's been a few, and I'm constantly fascinated by like what is going on in their heads. Like, what do you do when you're not here? Like, what do you think about? Like, what drives you? What's your favorite things? Especially when I notice how little content, like, this girl doesn't watch movies or TV shows. Like, doesn't even, like, I guess, like, TikTok's not really a thing. Like, not necessarily. Just sits outside. Just in their own head, I guess. Like, I guess not thinking about anything, which is just very strange. Like, I want to, like, and this isn't an insult, it just seems very airheaded, which is not necessarily a bad thing. And when I say airheaded, I mean, like, there's not a lot of complex thought. And again, I do not think that that's a bad thing. I think it's a nice place to be. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, it's not fun constantly thinking all the time. Like, it would be, like, people that are, I know it's probably not, like, necessarily a thing to envy, but, like, envying people that are, like, simple people. You know, kind of, like, just the simple that are fucking happy sitting down watching cat videos. Just happy watching cat videos, have no idea what's going on, like, with Ukraine, like, none, not a clue. Don't have a clue and don't really care. Don't even have, like, an opinion about it, like, well, you know, I hope people are okay. It's just real simple, normal people. Jeez, Poppin P's like a motherfucker. Just simple, normal folk. Like, I feel like that's the way to be. Like, that I'm missing something in that, like, this constant thinking about bullshit. Like, where the fuck's it getting me? Like, is this getting me anything? What's the benefit to this? Like, overthinking things. I mean, I guess if I can use it in a way that, like, for doing this, like, if overthinking things is fun, entertaining, then sure, I'll overthink the fuck out of something. But I really envy people who just do a whole lot of nothing. Like, don't have a lot that they think about. They just, you know, it's a sunny day. I like sunny day. Like, yeah, I don't like rainy days, but sun will come out tomorrow. Like, that's, what the fuck? Like, god damn it. Like, I love that. Like, that energy is so nice to have around. Because I think it reminds you that, like, maybe things aren't really all that fucking, really aren't that bad. And then you listen to dumb fucking YouTuber assholes who have no idea what they're talking about at all. I had to listen to this, well, I didn't have to, but I listened to this Destiny idiot. This dude, like talking about going to college versus getting a job in the trades, and how, like, basically like, idiots get jobs in the trade, and you should go to college no matter what, for any, like, period. Like, college is the way to go. If you're lost, you don't have a direction, you don't know what to do, go to college. Like, yeah, sure, get a loan and go to college. Are you out of your goddamn mind? And he's talking down on trade jobs. Like, bro, they don't pay anything. Huh? What are you talking about? Like, that's a statement of, you don't own a home, do you? Like, clearly, I guarantee that guy rents. There's no way he owns a home. Because if he owned a home, he would have had to have at one point call an electrician, or specifically for him, he said plumbers. He's like, plumbers can't make any money. It's like, are you out of your mind? He's like, the only people that make like $80,000 to $100,000 a year as a plumber are people who hire multiple plumbers. Number one, that dude probably does, but that's not even remotely close to necessary to make that much money. And you only know, the only reason you don't know is because you've personally never had to pay a plumber. Clearly, you've never had to pay a plumber. It's like, do you have any idea how much these people do make? Like, you can, as an apprentice plumber, you can make, like, close to $30,000 a year. 30 to 40. I mean, even if it's 20 to 40, right? You do that for 4 years, you've made $80,000 to $120,000 versus 4 years of college where you've paid in to do a job that may be taken away from you by AI in the next 10 years. Or at the end of it, now you're a journeyman and you go from making 20 to 40 to 50 to 70. And that's just if you're a journeyman. And now you can work for yourself doing whatever the hell you want. And on top of that, like, oh, cool. Oh, great. You can make a YouTube channel. You can make a Twitch channel, like, or Facebook, YouTube. Just make videos of yourself doing the job that's paying you $50,000 to $70,000 a year. It's like, and then maybe you do hire some people on, and then those people make 20 to 50. It's like, and guess what's never taking your job? AI. There's not even a little bit. Not even close. How? Maybe at some point when a robot shows up to fix the pipes in your house. Okay. It's like, we have no idea how much money these people get to charge to do these jobs. And not only that, you don't have to do much other than YouTube to learn a bunch of stuff. That's why some of these companies are finally coming around to the fact that who gives a shit? Like, this degree does work, and I understand the idea behind wanting someone who has a degree, because that means that you've got someone who's willing to be a robot. They're willing to follow in lockstep with society's expectations. Like, this is a good cog for the wheel. And this doesn't mean for like STEM jobs or lawyers or doctors. That's all. Like, those things, it's a very specialized knowledge that is required. And that, I mean, you could probably study the law on your own and pass the bar. Tons of people do that. But there's definitely, like, medical school is absolutely necessary. And in all fairness, I don't think you actually, if you are a very good engineering student or you're engineeringly minded, you don't think you need an engineering degree at all either. If you can just, like, I can't remember his name, but he's it's Michael something, actually. He's a Twitch streamer who is I think he's an engineer, and he doesn't have a formal education. He's taken some classes and some stuff online. He said that you can take, like, Harvard classes online for free. So he would just take those, because, like, you don't need the degree, you just need the information. You need access to this information and, like, to learn these things. So the idea that sure, like, a guy might be able to get a degree, but if you're actually talented in these things, then that's the route to take. Not only that, that assumes that everybody's going, like, that they are going to do well in an academic setting. We don't fucking need this many goddamn social workers and fucking, like, history majors. I need someone to fix the road, dude. I need someone to fix I can fix my toilet. But, like, we need people fixing toilets, fixing fucking telephone lines, people that know how this shit works. Hey, motherfucker, the amount of shit that you used and did on the way to and from your office job today that you went to school for 4 years for, all that shit needs to get fixed and built and done. None of that gets learned in college. Maybe the engineer that designs it, but not the fucking hundreds, if not thousands, of people that are employed to actually build and maintain it. It's like, we need lots of those people, and you shouldn't be going to college to waste your time on some dumbass degree that you will not use while you're digging a ditch. And maybe your college job doesn't mean dick if there are no ditches to drain the water into so that you can actually drive on the road when the fucking rains come. Like, has that thought ever crossed your mind? Is, like, these things are so necessary in society, but treated with an absolute disdain by these pussy-ass loser dickheads on YouTube or on Twitch that have never worked a real job in their entire fucking life, but will talk about it as though, well, I sit in my bedroom and make fucking $3 million a month, but I'm going to talk about what people in the trades do. It's like, dude, you have no idea what money's even worth because you've been rich since you were 18 years old. Shut the fuck up. Your life experience is so minimal. Like, you know what it's like to be rich. Congratulations. Like, you know what life is like on easy mode. And don't give me this bullshit like, well, do you understand the stress? Do you understand the stress? Like, bitch, you shit. Like, I refuse to hear about the stress of being rich. Go fuck yourself. You know how poor people are stressed too and they don't have fucking money to wipe their tears away with? Like, dude, I'm sorry that you have a shitload of money and not enough imagination to use that money to make yourself feel somewhat better. Money doesn't buy happiness. No. Money doesn't buy the intelligence to use your money to actually purchase the happiness. Are you fucking retarded? And yeah, I use the R word, but I only use that for these people. We've talked about this before. I'm not justifying it. I don't give a fuck. You must be absolutely stupid as shit if you think that you cannot buy you're insane. You're insane. You absolutely can. You lack imagination if you think that that's the case. Because then maybe I am wrong, but at least for me anyway, everything in my life is pretty okay as far as I'm aware, unless of course I'm living in a complete and absolute lie, which is totally plausible and something I fear on a constant basis, which is why I will consistently create. If you're in my life, there is a Machiavellian absolute perfect version of you that lives inside of my brain that is the smartest possible version of you that you could imagine. and you are constantly planning and to do something to me. I will create so I can steel man you in my brain so that I can't be like completely caught off guard. There's an evil genius version of you. You might as well have a mustache that you're twirling. Yeah, like there's an evil genius version of you that lives inside of my brain that comes up with real fucked up shit so that I can't be completely blindsided by any kind of fucked up thing that you might do to betray me. And I understand that I'm wrong. I'm just paranoid and insane. You'll begin to realize that after you listen to more hours and hours of me rambling, how completely out of my fucking mind I am, especially when it comes to that kind of thing. But back to what I was talking about. If I can fucking remember, holy shit, I hope so. Because I was on a roll there. Is you saying something? You have to be fucking completely stupid if you don't think. Fuck. Oh, it's like you just. God damn it! I don't think I would be able to remember what I was talking about, guys. Fuck! I was on a roll. Hold on. Let's see if we can pause it and go back and listen to it. We'll be right back. We're back, and you think you lack. I figured I found it. I figured out how this thing works. Audacity rules, folks. This is a little advertisement for Audacity. Audacity is a fantastic application. If you'd like to record your voice for any reason, whether it's for a podcast or for masturbatory purposes, I highly recommend Audacity. It's free and it rules. But yes, if you can't buy happiness, it's because you lack fucking imagination, which is the thing that really bothers me with people that seem to have lots of money, is that somehow these people that have figured out how to make tons of money, when it comes to any other avenue in their life, have zero imagination. Like, things in my life are pretty okay, unless, there's a lie, that the only problem I have is money. Like, if we just paid all my bills and had paid all my shit off, just all my bills, and my rent was paid, I'm living the dream. I love it. Like, I like things that are going on in my life. Like, I enjoy most of the things. I am bored as fuck at my job. But that's more of a me thing. I get bored doing anything for about a year. Or, here's a question that I have. Because we're going to just abandon bitching about YouTubers. Who gives a fuck? They're all, not all of them, but just they're just dumb. Like, somehow they have such these crazy lives where they have access to so many of these things, but don't have a real life experience because it's not real life experience. They have such a different life experience, like from this struggling and the thing. I don't know. I just think that their worldview is so unbelievably narrow even though they have the ability to have it be as broad as humanly possible. But whenever you have all that access, the lack of access to understand what suffering really is. And not just because it's easy to see really horrifying, terrible suffering that you could actually receive empathy for, but it's another thing to see the regular suffering of a normal person on a day-to-day basis that no one has any sympathy for. It's just suck it up, pussy, it's life. And it's like you kind of have to, so it's this low level, but then, of course, if you worry about it too much, you end up becoming these giant pussies that are like, well, I think it's terrible that we even have to work. I think we shouldn't have to work at all. I think we should just be able to sit and things should just be, and Josh should provide. So there's a problem with that. But I don't think that I don't know. Cause it's just this idea of like, whoa, I feel depressed all the time. It's like, yeah, but you could solve that if you just stop being a fucking idiot. Like, what? You have $1 million. Fly to fucking Paris. Like, do something nice for some people. Like, give some of your money away. Like, why don't you go on stream and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give 10 people $50,000 and change some people's lives. Like, maybe doing something with all the money that you've amassed other than just amassing it and then bragging to your friends, which is another thing. Was like, I wonder how much of this I'm depressed bullshit is real, and it's not just, well, I need to talk that way so that people don't start treating me like they would treat a normal rich person on the stream, which is what they are. Like, when I hit it big, you just know that when I start acting semi like a rich person, which it'll happen kind of if I make any money. Like, it's a normal human thing. Remind me, check me, and remind me, episode 7, Like, remember, like, you're a fucking loser, and it does not matter. Which is the thing I had to, I had to let my child know that he's a cake eater. I had to let him know that. He had to be informed of the fact that he does not suffer, and that he's a spoiled brat, and that he's in fact a cake eater. I don't think he knows what a cake eater is yet, but he will know. He'll find out. It's like, cause he's a fucking cake eater, and he's not had any semblance of suffering, doesn't know what it is, couldn't imagine what it was, has no idea. I've tried to explain that to him about like little kids that are in his class that act all wild. It's like, I bet you that they're like, I'm telling you they're not happy. Which is the thing that I wish more people would understand, and I hope I can drill into my children's brains, is that most of the people that make you happy or that treat you like shit or that are mean to you or like that you can't stand, a lot of times the attitude and behavior that they're displaying means that no one else likes them either. And while it's frustrating and annoying to have to deal with that person, it's not as though the world is, I understand when the world is consistently, rewarding this person for being a piece of shit. If you have someone in your life that's like a fucking asshole and they just keep winning all the time, totally understand why that would be frustrating as fuck. But even then, that person probably hates themselves. Because you can't behave like that and not really feel that people dislike you and hate you. And that comes from a place. And it's like, this person's miserable as shit. Like, I will usually either take solace or find pity in the person who behaves in a certain way. Because, like, I feel sorry for them. Especially when, which is another thing I see constantly, is when confronted with mental illness, a lot of people who will, well, I'm taking a mental health day, and I think it's really important for people to care about my mental health. When confronted with true mental health issues and disorders, it immediately is just like, that person's a complete piece of shit. It's like, no, they're not mentally well. Like, their brain doesn't work. You think that there's a perfect example. There's a lady. Apparently there's a lady, well, I've never met her. Apparently there's a lady that used to come to my job and just yell racial slurs at people and act like, I mean, like these Karens that you see in a video where they're freaking the fuck out and can barely breathe. Like, they're having a mental breakdown. Why you think just because of the content of what they're saying during this mental breakdown, this person no longer deserves any kind of empathy whatsoever? Because, oh, well, they said a bunch of mean things. It's like, well, you understand it's the same place that your depression is coming from. This person is losing. You think they're doing this because they like it? You think this is good? This is fun for them. They're enjoying this. Like, no. They're enjoying this and they're going to benefit greatly from this action. Why does no one ever ask this person if they're okay? Like, genuinely, like, are you okay? Because they can't be. There's no way they can be. They are acting completely and totally irrational, and it's just, oh, they're just a racist piece of shit. It's like, or you're an insensitive fuck, and they're having a mental breakdown in your face, and you have zero empathy whatsoever because they're saying mean words. Who gives a shit? Like, you think this person means it? They probably can barely fucking control what's coming out of their mouth right now. Like, you see how crazy their eyes are. Like, they are not okay. Why is everyone treating them like they're evil? Like, what the fuck is going on? This person is out of their goddamn minds. Like that lady whose life got destroyed because that black dude was harassing her. And he was if you watch, I want you to go back and watch. There's a video of it's the lady with the dog who calls the cops on the black guy who was bird watching. Okay. And the beginning of this video, the black dude's the fucking Karen. Okay, the black dude's the Karen because he's bitching at this chick because her dog was off a leash. Like, your dog wasn't on the leash. Why wasn't your dog on the leash? Your dog's not on the leash. Bitch, shut the fuck up and look at your birds, dork black. All right? So this dude is initially being a Karen and she's telling him to fuck off. It's like, and then she starts clearly freaking the fuck out, having a mental breakdown, and is clearly unwell. And I'll tell you another secret. All these fucking single ladies with dogs, they're already unwell. Just know that. They're already kind of not doing okay. I don't know what's going on in women land, but these bitches have lost their fucking minds and they're nuts. I don't know if it's the fluoride in the water or if they're spiking the tampons. I don't know what the fuck is happening, but women are losing their fucking minds across the country. They've completely lost the plot. I don't understand what's happened, but something has gone on and they're completely nuts. Maybe it's 5G, but chicks have completely snapped. And I'll tell you right now, these women with their dogs at home. I mean, cat ladies are a little less terrifying because I feel like these women are like one bottle of Pinot Grigio and a bad episode of Grey's Anatomy away from bending over and getting this Doberman go to town on them. That's all I'm saying. I worry for these single women living with the dogs. Okay, it's a problem. It's an issue. It's not like this isn't fun. This is the goal. It's just me and my dog. Like, no. No, it's not. I mean, I'll give you this. When you die alone, that dog's not going to eat you like the cats will. But yeah, I don't understand what the fuck's going on. Like, it just, so then she freaks the fuck out and and because it's not happy or it's not like, oh, it's some hot chick that I can tell her everything's okay and then maybe she show me her tits in OnlyFans. Like, it's not these, like, little cries for help and attention. It's a genuine fucking mental breakdown. And here's how you know the difference between a mental breakdown and just someone aiming for attention. When you're doing something that is loud and aggressive and insane while tons of people are filming you and you're not stopping and your life is probably over and everyone around you knows it, that is illogical and irrational. This person is doing something insane. And my first thought is not, what a racist piece of shit. It's, this is really sad that this person is currently losing their mind in front of me. I don't, like, clearly, no one's ever had moments like that. You've never had moments where you've lost control of your mind. Like, it's like, okay, there's no empathy. There's zero empathy in these people's parts because as soon as something becomes, everyone will support all this bullshit until it becomes an inconvenience in their lives. And as soon as mental illness becomes an inconvenience in their life, it's no longer mental illness. It's something else so that you can label it as a thing that you don't have to deal with. Cause shocker, it's not fucking easy. Like, surprise, the thing that you're, like, touting for or that you're marching in the street for, eating sandwiches and Instagramming pictures of yourself doing is now actual work and is difficult and makes your life hard. It's like these things is like Israel-Palestine thing, regardless of what you believe, either side of that, if you live here, you're doing nothing, absolutely nothing. And your position would be a lot harder to hold either way if you lived there. If you went there, no matter what position you have right now, would be much more difficult to hold on to if you actually had to live in the conditions for which you are protesting for. It's like you have to understand that and know that, but none of these people do. Nope. Because there's no actual empathy or understanding. It's all for Instagram clicks and fucking TikTok likes, and it's just for clout. There's a clout chasing people because most people who actually would or have the capacity to care or truly understand what it is to care about these things have too many responsibilities to be out there doing that. And then you have people like, well, there's no higher responsibility than this, blah, 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 blah. Me standing in the street on with the rest of you goddamn animals will do nothing. But me not going to work means that I can't feed my family. And the lives that I have actual impact on a daily basis are more important. Maybe, perhaps, you would do the same if you went out and created a family of your own and worried about those lives and the lives of the things around you instead of the things. I just feel like you've picked a task where you get the optimal amount of clout for doing as little amount of work as possible. It's like you get it just from wearing a pin. I mean, it's from both sides. Like, don't get me wrong, the urge and the desire to wear a Make America Great Again hat just to piss people off because I am of the opinion, go fuck yourself, I'll do whatever the fuck I want, and you will not tell me, you can't wear that, fuck you, I wear whatever I want, this is America, god damn it. Like, this isn't fucking Russia or Korea, like North Korea, where the government's gonna tell me something, go fuck yourself. Eat my dick, suck my balls, I will do whatever the hell I want. And it's like, is that immature? Maybe it's immature, but when your actual rights are being infringed upon, you should at the very least stand up enough to tell someone to go fuck themselves and then do almost the opposite of what they're saying. Like, I of course I will. Of course I will. Like, and I think that anybody who doesn't, it's like, are you just going, it's like, well, you're just being manipulated. Maybe. It's like, this is my choice. This is a free choice. Between, like, you're just gonna tell me, like, no, you can't. You're un-American if you do that. You hate this country. Quit fucking telling me what I think. Consistently get told what I think. Now, granted, I know I just spent a bunch of time saying what people are doing, but that's just based off of their actions. Now, I'm not saying what these people think. I'm saying what they're doing. Like, I don't know exactly what they think they're doing, because I think sometimes they don't know what they're doing necessarily. I don't know if they're conscious of the fact that they're doing what they're doing, because it's just leftover monkey shit, and it's an easy way to do it. It's an easy, like, way for just, not very intelligent people to feel that, like, I'm a good person. And then there's semi-intellectual people who use the less intelligent people and manipulate them in ways to benefit themselves or to benefit their own ego as well. And I think those people know I think it is my opinion that those people know exactly what they're doing. And I applaud them, because they're doing a pretty good job of manipulating the masses in a way, or manipulating these scenarios or situations in conversation to gain some kind of, like, clout. Watching guys do it to chicks is one of the most disgusting things. And we're like watching some like fake woke dude put on his mask and pretend all this, like, I'm a feminist. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, that is such a ploy and a line to get pussy in the most disgusting of ways possible. Like, I will never, the idea of pretend, cause like, that's why, again, when I've talked about it before, like banging like 20-year-olds, I can't do it because there's no way I would be able to fake listening to them talk about bullshit and I will piss them off. Cause there's gonna come a point where you're gonna say something completely fucking insane and I'm gonna have to be like, that's just not true. Like, it's just not. And then guess what? Chicks aren't a super fan of all the time. You disagreeing with them about things, especially not these, like the types, just they're opinionated as fuck. And they're not used to it. Like, they're used to being surrounded by a bunch of guys that will just be like, so that they could get some pussy. And sometimes it works. Sometimes these chicks, but I mean, and then it's that whole, like, these chicks that are like, I don't have orgasms through penetrate. Like, what? It's like, yeah, because it's just a bunch of people who have no idea how to have sex. Or they watch terrible porn. Like, this is a disturbing trend that I realized when I talk to, and it's because people just Google shit. Like, when I listen to women talk about, like, the type of porn that they've seen, like, what did you watch? Like, what did you see? Like, did you see these terrible, like, fucking back shot videos where it's just somebody's, like, this is someone's torso? Just, like, these fucking 2-minute videos of some guy, like, lazily, inaccurately throwing his fucking half-hard dick into this chick in the back of the seat of a car with his terrible fucking camera phone. Like, just the terrible camera phone light blasted at this chick's back while she kind of, like, half moans. And then of course he's talking. Jesus Christ. At what we do, if you're recording this to play back for yourself, why are you talking? Like, ew. No, I shouldn't be allowed to hear you. I think that you should definitely be allowed to talk to the chick for sure, but I should never be allowed to hear you. It is disgusting. Shut the fuck. Because every dude says the dumbest shit. Like, chicks like it in the moment, but you'll say some real dumb shit that sounds real stupid. Why would you want to hear that again? Why would you want to, that's what you're going to get off to, is you saying some stupid shit to her in your dumb bro voice. I mean, I think this is what these women see when they watch these videos. It's like, cause there's no deep diving. They don't comb through shitloads of stuff. I mean, hell, a lot of guys don't. Like, I've had some guys tell me this stuff. They're like, bro, what? What are you watching? It's like, are you aware? I should do a whole show just on the porn you should be watching, especially if you're a chick. God damn it. Just don't watch low budget trash porn. This is a problem with OnlyFans. Like, the amount of women that are, like, disgusted with themselves, you can see it in their faces on these cameras. Cause I'm combing through GIFs. I'm a GIF hound, personally. I will download, granted, technically they're not GIFs, they're just short videos because I don't like things without sound, because I am a sound hound above all. We've talked about that before. Sound hound, baby. All about it. So, I have a library of short videos. I call them GIFs just out of convenience. And so like I've combed through to see like what is good and what's not and what's just complete trash. And there's a lot. And you see these OnlyFans chicks and like it's like they can see themselves in the camera and they're just this disgusted look on their face while they're like half-heartedly like DJ rubbing their box. It's just what the fuck is this? Like stop. And then men are paying thousands of dollars just out of their own pockets to watch that. Why? What are you doing? Do you have any idea how much free, fantastic pornography exists out there? I mean, Jesus Christ. And then there's so much like good porn from people who at the very least have made a choice that this is their career. Like this is their career, and while they're doing it, they can at least act like they enjoy it. And I think a lot of them do like it. Whether or not they'll be happy with their decisions later on, I don't know. And personally, I don't care. Like, I know there's this huge anti-pornography thing, and I get it. And I don't think that porn is for everybody. I don't think you should be watching it constantly. I don't think it should be like a replacement for women, or I don't think that you should have an expectation that every single thing you see in porn is real life, and that that's how that all works, and it's not fantasy and like talked about heavily beforehand. And in all fairness, if you run a porn set, this shit would not be attractive. It wouldn't be all that sexy or hot because of how mechanical it probably is. These people do a very good job of like making content that makes it seem like this is the greatest thing in the world. And in all fairness, it can be if you do it with someone who is open-minded and interested and trusts you and you trust them to be able to do these kinds of things. And I think that you should be doing them to experiment, to have fun, to spice things up and keep things fun and fresh. Because if you think that sex isn't important in a relationship, that's why your relationship, that's part of the reason why your relationships fail. Like, if you don't take it seriously, like your partner's sexual pleasure seriously, you're a fucking idiot. And that's the problem. Like, that's the problem. If you're with someone who does, and this idea that, do I think that there are people who are like asexual? Maybe. I think there's some people who aren't very sexually minded. Sure. Everything is on like a spectrum of, and there's like averages and all that bullshit, and there's people who don't, for sure. But I think it's also a lot of people who are self-conscious about themselves and have never had a partner who's actually made them feel comfortable enough about themselves to open up to the benefits of having sex. Like, they're so in their own head and so full of anxiety that of course none of it feels good. And as a guy, you don't understand that about women, is that that's a thing. Like, they won't feel good at all. Oh, well, but for the most part, they're not going to feel very good at all if they're not interested or they feel anxious, and they'll hate it. Like, in their own, if you don't make them feel comfortable in their own skin, and that takes time, and they have to trust you, and that's why the idea of like lying to a woman or one night stands, like, how are you gonna be able to possibly like be good at sex with someone that you don't know? Like, I sling dick, and I am one of the greatest to ever do it, hands down, facts, but not with just some random stranger. Like, just I don't know you. I know nothing about you. Like, so, and that means that, like, you're going to tell me in the midst of things? Maybe, but I guarantee you, here's a fun fact. That's not that sexy. When women tell you to stop or no, and this is going to sound bad, it's not a very attractive thing, because you realize that you've done something wrong and that you've pushed a boundary. You've made them feel uncomfortable, and you almost kind of ruin the moment to a point where she has to say, no, don't do that. I don't like that. And like, the whole mood changes in that moment. This isn't to say that women shouldn't do that. It's the idea that you want to know the person that you're with enough to know whether or not that's even an option before you try it. Or it's something that they'd be interested in. And then and this is the whole point of doing it with someone who you have like respect for and that you trust, and not just fucking random strangers, because hopefully the woman you're with will know you enough to know if you are at this experimental stage to not just go, no, don't do that. Because it is to ruin the fucking moment, and then I'm never going to want to try to do anything new again. Ever. And this is why, like, of course, don't say it like that. It's like, and you shouldn't have to say it like that, because the person you're sleeping with should be someone that you know, care about, and trust. Just as simple as that. Like, even if I have, like, ideas or thoughts about open relationships, things, I don't condone or support random sex and hookups with strangers. That's fucking weird, dangerous, terrible for your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth. You really shouldn't be doing that. Do I think that sleeping with multiple people that you've developed a relationship with, cared for, and loved is a bad thing? No. Not even a little bit. If you, as a guy, are upset that this woman's had like 15, wow. I mean, I think when you start getting to larger numbers, you couldn't have known these people for very long. But even then, like if it's a couple of months or like a month, like just some time to build some kind of, or to try to build some kind of relationship. Maybe you should wait longer to have sex. Maybe not. I don't know necessarily. I can only speak for what works for me personally. And I think a lot of that, depending on how you manage to have them care about you. This is why, like, it's a lot easier when you're young. And not something that you're going to really be able to do in your 30s and 40s and so on. And after that, I mean, until maybe like your 60s when you're like you're all like old. And then you can definitely just get down and be like, yeah, I've had a whole fucking life here. Like, what do I have to regret? It's like, even if the guy's an asshole, whatever, I'm getting my rocks off. It's fun. It's like, sure. I think that's great. I think that'd be fun, especially like if your partner's gone and you just gotta get out there and have some fun again. That makes sense. But like you'd be doing this when you're younger. So like you dated for a month and you had sex a few times with this person. Okay. You got 8, 9, 10. Even if you're at like 15 or 16. Okay. Like, so what? Like, as long as they're like boyfriends and stuff. There's like a couple where you got drunk or you're out partying and it's like you did it once. Like, I personally, I've never had like a one night stand with someone I didn't know. Like, every person I've ever slept with has been someone that I knew for at least a decent amount of time. Maybe not super close, but I knew them. I knew them as a person. It wasn't, I met them in a bar this night and went home with them and slept with them and I've never knew them before. That's not real. I don't understand how anyone can do that. Like, I want to know you. And I don't understand why people don't want to. You want to do a good job, don't you? You gotta fucking know who the hell these people are. You gotta know what makes them tick. Because you'd be surprised the amount of things that you could learn about a person and what they would want sexually based off of just who they are as a human being. Like what kind of things they like, the things that they like to do, how they live in their life. Like, are they a really highly regimented, very scheduled person? Well, they're probably they might very much enjoy you dominating them over being dominated necessarily. Like, that could be fun for them. That might be a thing that they want to try. They may not even know that. Like, it might be fun to experiment with that for someone who doesn't know or understand that. It's just there's so much shit that people don't know. And it's sad. Whoa, shit. It's sad that people aren't doing anything like that anymore. And I don't think it's the whole, some people are like, well, it's because they're going to be more traditional about it. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's that they've just abandoned the idea of it because it seems like it's too difficult. Like, it's too difficult to talk to a chick. And then no guys, who the fucking male role models to teach you how to talk to women. It's two flip sides of a coin. It's either fucking Andrew Tate or it's some soy boy pussy who has no idea how to talk to a woman at all anyway, because they're not people. I mean, I don't think women understand how difficult it is to talk to them anyway, especially when you're younger. I mean, it's like the sky opens up and the world sings when you see a beautiful woman. You're just awestruck. The desire to tell them, like, do you know that you're unbelievably beautiful? It pulls in you to say it. Like that, it's not just that we admire you from afar. There's an urge inside of you to tell them. Like, something screams at you that, like, you are unbelievably beautiful. Maybe it's because you can't tell a rainbow. You can't tell a sunset or a sunrise how beautiful it is, but when you see a beautiful woman, you actually have the ability to confront beauty and speak to it, like to converse with it, to tell it how appreciative you are of the fact that it exists. Like what it fills you with to see it. And this isn't just like necessarily a sexual thing. Like, women are beautiful in general. Like, your mother is beautiful to you, your sisters, your daughter, like, and I mean, that's why when a guy tells you, like, you should smile, do you know what a smile does to a room from a woman? Not just for, and again, not a sexual thing. Like, my daughter's smile will change my mood like you wouldn't believe. She'd piss me right the fuck off. I want to, like, strangle her, throw her against a goddamn wall, which I'd never do. But you just get these just furious, and then she'll just smile and laugh. and just how the beauty in that is unbelievable. And I do not think that women fully grasp or appreciate what that's like. It's like, it's a lot to put on you. It's like, sure, but that's fantastic. I don't know why it's demonized to the idea. It's like, yes, there are perverts and assholes out there. It's like, and there's people that are being dickheads. It's like, but another thing is, you have it within you to do nothing but move your lips, and you will brighten people's day. Like, you have the ability to bring happiness to a room simply because you are beautiful. You can smile and say hello and brighten another human being's day because you are the embodiment of Mother Nature. Unbelievable, untold beauty, as you are like the font of life. It's crazy. It's just crazy, just this idea that these things like women run away from. It's like, because some ugly fucking ogre has convinced you that that's not the case, and that men are treating you, they're evil. They're treating you like shit. It's terrible. It's like, yeah. It's because they want to hog all of the attention for themselves, or they don't want you. They don't ever get it because they're terrible. They don't work on themselves. They don't work on themselves at all. Because like, how guys are always told they have to work on themselves, as a chick, you have to as well. Because, like, if you're not a 10, or you're not a 9, an 8, or a 7, or a 6, you have to do something. It's like, you have to be kind and sweet. And, like, this whole, like, oh, we'll be a boss bitch and make a bunch of money. I mean, that might work for some guys. You might be able to get some sugar babies doing that. It's like, or if that's your goal, if that's the thing that you want in life, that's awesome. But doing it because you think you should, or because, like, that's how you, no. It's like, just better yourself. Learn how to cook. Jesus Christ. We talked about, I ain't got to talk about this. The last thing. If you're ugly as fuck, learn how to cook. Learn how to cook. Learn some gamer shit, and then just do that. Like, cook a gamer kid some food. He'll love you to death. Be super thankful. And that's it. Find a partner. You guys are going to love each other. Love is out there for everybody as long as you're not a piece of shit. Even if you're a piece of shit, you might even be able to find it anyway. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Ja feel. I think Ja really feels that. So I think we were all over the place. Hopefully next time I can maybe plan something out. There's that outro music. Actually, in all fairness, it was probably right on in, so that you knew that this was wrapping up. Did another hour. Come back next week. Maybe some questions, some comments. Let me know what you think. You let me know what you think. In all fairness, we know it was great. You enjoyed yourself. It was fantastic. Gotta get away from the sex stuff. We're gonna talk about some different topics next time, maybe. Or maybe that's what this becomes. It's a constant sex talk, relationship, porn noir. Who knows? Probably not, though. It's gonna be some other stuff. Some funny things. We bitching about things. I don't know. I'm just gonna find some other stuff to talk about, guys. But that's me. Ooh, the woodworking thing. I made some changes. Maybe it's not over. We'll talk for a little bit longer here. The woodworking thing, I'm making some changes to that because I think I tried to go too deep into a thing before building like a base of it, which I do a lot where I go like whole hog into a thing without thinking it through completely. I need to just stick with purchasing like one or two smaller tools. I have the one. I got the heat miter saw, return the table saw, return the pocket hole jig, and the router, and I'm gonna get a planer. So I can't really do anything without planing the boards. I gotta plane the boards. So I'm gonna get a handheld electric planer because the big one's fucking $700. It's insane. And again, it needs tons of space. So I'll use a hand planer instead. Then I can make like tables and cutting boards and stuff because I need to buy clamps. There's so many like little things that you need that drives me fucking insane. That makes this much harder than I anticipated. I didn't think it through as much because like I said, I do things and don't think it through. It's fucking wild how impossible it is to think it through. And then, of course, it's like a daunting thing where these people tell you about these things to make. It's like, oh, you should make these. It's like, yeah, but now isn't the market flooded by the fact that you said to make all these? It's like, are all of these people selling them? Are there so many and so much available that people will buy them anyway? Or I have to spend some time and really think about something I could make out of 2x4s that isn't being made right now that people would buy. Because there's a guy that says it's like you don't know something will sell until it does. So that could be the case. We're gonna try and do that. Been doing some more baking. I'm trying to think of some stuff to bake up. And I'm gonna start making some meals. Like tonight, I think I'm gonna go after I pick up the Christina and the kids. I'm gonna go to Walmart and get some stuff and make these cool taco things I saw on Instagram, which I'll say Instagram is probably only good for me anyway, is the food things that come across there, which I'm so happy that it's just food and occasionally something funny, which I don't really even want. Because as soon as you start watching funny things and you get into comedians, and then comedians are, of course, always fucking intrinsically tied to political bullshit. And then before you know it, I got AOC things popping up. And while she is a fat titty Latina, the things that she says are dumb as shit. And then, or it's the other side, where then I gotta listen to fucking Ted Cruz ramble on about bullshit. Like, I don't know, you tried to outlaw sex toys in Texas, you fuck. Like, it's all trash. It's all trash. It's all trash. Remember, do not pick a side. If you picked a side, you've already lost. Politics is fucking dumb, because it's all a shell game, right? It's just, you're watching The Young and the Restless with, granted, real world consequences, but you ain't doing shit about that. Neither am I. Not a goddamn thing. Watching the circus over there. The fucking circus. Hour and 5. Look at that. Going strong. Just, I don't know. It's spending money for me is getting kind of dumb. The economy is fucking crazy. I don't know anything about how it works, but seeing what the average cost of a home is like, something seems like it's got to break here. Like, this seems like things might be kind of bad, huh? Which I don't understand. Like, how have they managed to fuck us with how money works? Here's the thing. They will say to you that they put more money. If there's more of something, that means that it's less scarce, so the value of it goes down, right? Because more people have it. Do you know what kind of leftover monkey bullshit that is when we're talking about what we're like? That only works if it's an actual resource that's necessary for something, or there's some weird desire for it, like there is for gold or silver or any of the precious metals or dimes, any of these things that are actually rare. Now, when we're talking about money, we're playing Monopoly. Okay? Our money's based on fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. And this idea, the only reason why no, because here's the deal. Here's what's really happening. It's not that these things are no longer worth the money that's out there. It's not worth as much anymore. So like, you need more for the value to be there. No. Nope. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's hungry hippos is what's happening. Is that the people at the top, the very small number of people who control everything, money's been injected into the game. And when before, all the money was accounted for. Now there's new money injected in the game. And the game is, I have to have as much of that new money as possible because there's more of it. And if there's more of it, then I need to make more and I need to get more. And it's this unbelievable level of greed. Because who really gives a shit? Now, I'm going to ask you, as anyone listening to this, who really actually cares that there's more $1 bills than there were? Who cares? Why? And don't tell me that, well, there's more of a thing, so that doesn't No. These aren't fucking magic cards, asshole. Like, these aren't magic cards. And that's also is a joke because it's painted plastic. There is no actual value here other than what you assess to it. We use this in a game, in a shell game. It's like, my time is still, it's like, so what? Because you keep making more dollar bills, my time is now, I need more of what? Like, if my house costs more because there's more of these out there. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, just say it. Say it out loud and think about it for a second. And there's more money, so the money's worth less. If you knew there was 12 million apples, okay, cool, because it's in circulation. Well, here's a fun fact. Most of the money's digital, so it's even less real. Okay? Do I think when they said they printed money, they actually printed it, or did they create it digitally? Even if they print it, how often do you get actual cash? A whole lot of fucking never, huh? Yeah, it's a whole lot of never. It's mostly digital money, most of the time. Okay? So what they're trying to convince you of is this thing that exists in your fucking mind that you occasionally create a physical copy of in the real world somehow loses value because there's more physical copies of a thing that mentally is infinite in your mind anyway. It is a shell game where they do nothing but fuck you. It is insane that it's a bunch of crazy autistic psychos who've decided that these numbers are what they worship, and that number has to go up and up and up and up and up over and over and over again, even though at the point they're at, the making more money makes no sense and is of zero value to them at all, other than they need to make more of the thing. And that is the actual crux of what is I will not be manipulated by a bunch of people who speak well and try and trick you. The money that they make is imaginary to begin with because it's based on nothing in reality. The idea that what we're talking about is the paper that they print is a fallacy that they use to justify the fact that the economy keeps fucking you in the ass. All these politicians that will attack women's like, well, I think there's price fixing going on. Of course it's fucking price fixing. Do you think for a moment that these companies are separate from each other? When Walmart increases its prices for its items, it's like, well, the people that we get our things from. So you're telling me that you don't own a stake in any of the companies that you purchase these items from at all? It's because that happens a lot where, especially like a hotel, right? If you own a franchise, when you purchase the things for inside of your store, you have to buy them from another company that is usually also owned by the franchisor. Yeah, by the franchise that you're purchasing it from. So they have another company that they require you to purchase from, so that that you have to buy it. So then, oh well, it's the distributor themselves that's increased the prices. Well, the distributor is you fuck. Like, you are the distributor. It's like, so what do you mean exactly that the price has gone up? Because if the price on the food has gone up, it's because the price on the farmers has gone up because the things that they buy from the same people that they end up selling the shit to, because these people own the same companies, the price on that has gone up arbitrarily because it's a circular demon beast that they get to use legal mumbo jumbo bullshit to weasel themselves out of the fact that, yes, they are increasing the prices out of nowhere for no fucking reason, because who's doing it? Who's doing it? It's like, well, no, it's because of the price. And what do you mean? What do you mean? Because it all comes down to these farmers half the time. And these farmers are like, well, my feed costs more. It's like, where's the feed coming from? It's like, well, this company that owns this company that is either partially owned or in bed with the bank that I have to take the loan out for to buy the feed in the first place. It's like, so it's this big circle jerk to get all of the money that exists out there in the first place. And they hide behind layers and layers of bullshit so that the normal person does not have the time to go through and look at it. The only thing you have the time for is to listen to MSNBC or Fox News or any one of these excerpts or some short clip, because you can't. You don't have the time. And you don't want to. There's gonna have people tell me stuff all the time where it's like, did you look into it? Like, have you done independent research on it that I'm unaware of? You've watched a bunch of things. No? Okay. So you listened to a 5-minute clip or you saw a fucking tweet. Well, okay. I'm sorry, but you don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I will admit that the hour I've taken to look into a thing, or the 3 or the 4 or the 5, it's still not a ton. I'm not an expert and I don't know, but I know more than the person who's looked up absolutely fucking nothing. Zero. And you cannot tell me I don't know what I'm talking about or that I'm wrong. If you, like, based off of what? Like, how are you saying that? Like, I get, like, if you have an alternate opinion, what are you basing that alternate opinion on? If it's anything, okay. Like, that's cool. I don't know for sure. But to hear, like, nope, that's not true. Based off of what? Well, I saw, like, a CNN clip. It's like, where they lied? Have you looked at, like, have you looked into the source of what they said, how they said that? It's like, no. Well, then you don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You're just fucking making shit up. Like, you don't have a basis for that opinion at all. It's a shit opinion that you get to have, but, like, why am I an asshole because I have one that's slightly more informed than yours and it's different? And it's like, I'm not going to get mad at you with the amount of people that be mad at me for having a difference of opinion, which I never understand. Why are you so fucking pissed because I disagree with you? I think it's a lot of people don't like to be challenged on their point because they realize that they don't actually have a foundation for that point at all. And when pressed, they feel stupid. Or they just don't, or they don't know, or they're confused and they don't understand. Like, well, I wish some people would press me sometimes. Because sometimes I don't remember or know or realize in my rant that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And then when pressed, I'm like, I don't actually, what? I had that thought and I had that belief and I don't have a foundational basis for it that's really defensible. So I can't keep going with it. Like, yep, you're right. I should probably think it a little bit more. It's like, but instead, nobody ever, the amount of times nobody ever fucking questions me when I say something nuts is insane. It's like, I genuinely want to know what you think so that I can maybe change my opinion. I really would like to know if you disagree and why. Like, that's a real thing. I don't think I know everything. I mean, it's fun to do that on here, and I'll have to do that all the time because, in all fairness, constantly being open-minded and never having an opinion or a thought is not entertaining or funny. So I'm going to have to do that here. But in all fairness, most of the time, I really don't. I don't have a clue. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm an idiot. So, yeah. On a good note, I fucking love you guys. Thanks for listening to this. I'm going to keep doing this. I've wanted to do this for years. I should have done it years ago. I probably missed the boat, but it doesn't matter because I'm doing it now. And you guys are fucking great. I appreciate you. Hit me up in the comments. Share with your friends. And fucking love you guys. And once again, as always, if anybody asks, it's not the things that I fuck! Well, looks like we'll try that again, won't we? If anybody asks, I don't regret the things that I have done, but those I did not do. I'll catch you fucking later.